one of the opportunities, sadly, is that people have so many opportunities that they also don't realize that there's also an opportunity that they will lose their soul in the process if they don't have a healthy support system. So yes, this is the line of opportunities. But one of those opportunities, if probably not the most important, is that you have the opportunity to surround yourself with people, mentors, coaches that can really make a difference and keep you on track so that you can really get to the end of the line and achieve that vision.
Welcome to the Valor Cast, where fight meets faith and fruit. This is a space for men who want more than just a weekend faith. We're here to sharpen each other, to grow stronger in God's Word, lead with integrity, and build real brotherhood. Each episode, you'll hear honest conversations with men from all walks of life. We'll talk faith, family, work, failure, legacy, whatever it takes to become the kind of men God has called us to be. Because this world needs more than passive belief, it needs men of valor. This is the podcast for building bold disciples one story at a time. This is the Valor Cast.
Welcome back, session 9 of the Valor Cast, where we've had a focus for the last 8 weeks with the Got Your Back book by Gary Yeagle. And this week we really dive into chapter 9, and it's spinning off last week's I've Got Your Back and the principles of that. As we start in a little bit of discussion, this is really about your check 6. It's about forming a foundation of partnerships behind you, a brotherhood that's there to check your blind spots, guys that are there walking alongside you with your spiritual battle. And we with us this week, we have Jeff Sheffer and Paul Brooks, and my buddy Jeff brought me a little cafe con leche to get things started in the morning. Thanks a lot, Jeff and Paul. Glad you guys could join us here.
Chilly outside.
In this first week of November.
Cheers.
I hope it's to your taste.
Do I have to be honest?
Always.
This thing you call coffee.
Oh, stop.
This thing you call coffee. In the beginning, God created Cuban coffee. And then came the Americans and put water on it.
Oh.
You know.
Well, having been to Cuba multiple times, all I can say is, you're right.
It's strong.
Amen.
So we like to drink it instead of chewing it.
Listen, my father's mother grew up in France, and her notion of coffee was Cuban coffee strong. It was that's just the way it was. It was espresso in your cup, and she started me drinking that espresso when I was 6.
Boy!
So I am a coffee addict.
There you go.
And I can't wait to get back to Cuba for some real coffee.
So tell us about a bit where you come from, Paul. Where you upbringing and all that.
So let me say this.
Because we know you, but people don't know you. So there might be somebody listening who don't know who you are.
Oh, I can make it up then.
Okay.
This is great. So let me start this way. The house that we live in, Barbara and I, we've lived in for 30 years now. And it's the 26th home I've lived in my lifetime.
Really?
Yeah. My dad was a corporate executive, and so we moved around quite a bit. After college, I went to work for IBM, and as every IBMer knows, IBM really stands for I've been moved. And so we moved with that. So for me, it's I was born in Illinois, lived in multiple places in many states, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Ohio, Connecticut, Minneapolis, and here. And I think for me, one of the many things that helped shape me was the fact that from an early age, I had to go into strange classrooms and interact with people and make friends and sort out those that were the right people to hang with and those that weren't. So I think for me, that was a really great experience. While I have the floor, though, what I'll say is I'm really not sure that I'm the best person for this podcast.
You're the only one who's not sure.
Well,
Yeah, you're here.
the reason I say that is I didn't own my own business until the last step in my career.
Jeff, did you know that Paul was from Illinois as well?
I did not know you were born in Illinois,
Yes. Yeah.
because I was born
Bloomington.
in Illinois too. As you can tell by the way I pronounce Illinois.
Where in Illinois?
Is that the word? The word?
No, it's not the way. I was born in Gurnee, where the Illinois-Wisconsin border is right on
Okay.
Lake Michigan.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's.
Cubs fans, both of you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Both Cubs
Yeah.
fans?
I don't know.
Oh,
about-
absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Well, the White Sox are there, right? But I mean,
Where?
I grew up. I grew up. My mom listened to every Cubs game on the radio.
Harry Carey?
Jack. No,
No, not
Jack
yet.
Brickhouse,
Ah.
Lou Boudreau,
Yeah.
singing "It's a Beautiful Day" for a ball game. Before every game, I knew every player.
Wow.
It's
Ernie
a
Banks.
beautiful day for a ball game, for a ball game today. Hey, everybody, I'm Jack Brickhouse.
The fans are out to get a ticket or two.
So there's no way to tell the history of American MLB or whatever without talking about the Cubs, right?
Not in my world.
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
think
was it
so.
100 years they had before they won the World Series? or
Well, I
something?
mean, they're one of the,
And I-
1900s.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
it's
earlier, so
They-
they've been around a long time.
And we're going to talk about the challenges of owning your business. You learn a lot by being a Cubs fan because every year you're disappointed, and you have to pick yourself up. You have to find a way to look forward to what's coming next.
So many Cardinal fans to remind you of it, too.
You got several here in the church, right?
Yeah.
Mark Tubb, if you're ever watching this, forget about it.
Oh my goodness.
Dave Shapiro.
Shapiro, yep.
Well, what can I say? I will say that there was a brief period of rebellion in my life, in my teenage years, where I did switch allegiance to the Cardinals because my parents were such rabid Cub fans.
Is that Ozzie Smith's era?
I would sleep out on the porch, listen to Harry Carey do the
When he
Cardinals
was a
games.
Cardinal, yeah.
But I came back to my senses.
And Harry Carey did that other team that you mentioned earlier. What was it called again?
Cardinals?
No,
White
the other
Sox.
one in Chicago.
Oh, the
White
White Sox.
Sox.
Harry Carey did for
Yeah.
them too before he was the Cubs
I
announcer.
didn't know that. Okay. Well, I'm learning some history here.
So Jeff, born in Chicago, and then born in Illinois, and then what?
Like Paul, my dad was sounds very similar. My dad was a farmer. At least I say that he was a farmer when I was born because I'm the youngest of 7, but I was raised an only child. And what I mean by that is that there was a 6-year gap between me and the next oldest. So mom and dad had 6 kids, and then 7 years later I came along.
Ah.
Okay.
So life was very different for me than it was my siblings. And about the age of 5 years old or so, my dad went into a business relationship with a gentleman farmer. And that was how I grew up and where I grew up. So unlike Paul, I was joking when I said that didn't move around. I lived the first 35 years of my life within a 1 or 2 mile radius of where my childhood home.
Okay.
And then the second location that I moved to was here in Valrico, and that was in
And that's when you had
2003.
Wow.
So those are the only 2 places that I've ever lived. Was Northern Illinois and East Tampa.
Okay.
But yeah,
And you guys, you both have been business owners, as Paul was saying. Later in his career is when he became a business owner, but you have also been a business owner, right?
yeah, and kind of the middle, because I you know, I guess part of my story, as I was reflecting on it and kind of prepping myself for today, was thinking about the entrepreneurs that were in my family. Like I said, my mom and dad, they got into this business arrangement with this gentleman farmer. That spawned into purchasing property and building 40,000 square foot of greenhouses back in 1977, 78 or something like that. Maybe a little bit earlier, 75.
You're making me feel young, you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then as I went through high school, I was working on the weekends and after school for my brother-in-law, who hung up his shingle as a contractor doing remodeling work. My sister was opening a flower business. My other sister was opening up a small retail craft shop. So I feel like there was all of these.
Runs in the family.
Yeah, a little bit. And you know, it wasn't from formal education. That's not part of my story necessarily. I did go to college, but it didn't take, or I didn't take to it.
But you got a degree in technologies, right?
No, I don't have a degree.
So
but thanks for bringing that up.
No. What I'm saying is you were in the technology field. So
Yes.
how you ended up there? So how you?
Yeah. So I say that, you know, owning my own business kind of came in the middle of my career. I went to work for a small business, about 400 or 500 employees at its largest, and it was a manufacturing company. And I was there for 15 years, from 1985 to 2000.
Wow, okay.
And I left there to go work for a new startup. The .com boom was just happening.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, and but prior to leaving, I did move from manufacturing into engineering into the IT department in the 15 years that I was at that company. And you know, one of the reasons that I did that is I felt isolated. And if there's engineers watching this, or if there's engineers in the room, we got some sound and audio engineers here. Sorry, guys, but engineers can be sometimes hard people in corporate America. They tend to create an isolation bubble around themselves, and they're fine and amongst each other. But my experience was, you stayed in that bubble because you were one of them. You didn't get out of it, and I wanted to get out. I wanted to talk to the rest of the people in the organization, and I saw a pathway into IT, and I took a liking to technology. So around 1994, 95, I jumped into it and was working corporate IT.
That's good.
So
Interesting.
That's good. So Paul, IBM, I've been moved.
Yeah.
Then what?
So 17 years with IBM, and I have to say, you know, that laid the found. Let me back up. My parents laid a pretty strong foundation on me as we were growing up. Particularly my mom, who insisted on church every Sunday school. I can't hold a tune in a bucket. We know that because I tried to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" earlier.
You did great.
But
you didn't know you're auditioning for the choir here at the church.
no, not happening. But I was in the youth choir like everybody else. I was an acolyte, which in the Episcopal Church where I grew up, that was a way to contribute. So mom sort of got my spiritual life rolling. But my business life got rolling with IBM, and it started when my first business mentor hired me in Akron, Ohio, Grant Starks. And Grant gave me a book written by a former CEO of IBM called A Business and Its Beliefs. And this book focused on his belief, his experience and belief that a business, not just the leaders of a business, but a business itself runs best if it's got a set of basic beliefs. And he defined those for IBM as respect for the individual, the best possible customer service, and excellence as a way of life. And
Can you say that again? Can you just say those three again?
respect for the individual,
Okay.
the best possible customer service, and excellence as a way of life.
Oh.
And those beliefs were drummed into us
Mm-hmm.
in initial training, in management training, in meetings that we had. Probably the best advertising campaign IBM ever had was IBM means service.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something we talked about it internally. We talked about it in small groups, in large groups. We talked about it with our customers. We whether we wanted to or not, we were encouraging them to hold us accountable to those beliefs. And so as I made my way from salesman to sales manager to branch manager to division executive, that was those things that we would not compromise on, those values
Mm-hmm.
that we called basic beliefs, were sort of the core that drove us, that guided us. I left IBM for a number of reasons, but the most positive of those reasons, the most negative of those reasons, was IBM was going to promote me into headquarters,
Mm-hmm.
into a staff job. And that's where I was going to spend the rest of my career, no matter how high I went in the organization. And I really had developed, my career was fixing problems.
Mhm.
I am
Yeah.
a problem fixer. And I am an operator, not a staff person. And I didn't look forward to that. And out of the blue came an opportunity to start a company down here in Tampa. And Barbara and I
Mm-hmm.
took the leap. Now, it wasn't really it was entrepreneurial in the sense that it was a new company, but it was really a new division of an established company. So it wasn't really being an entrepreneur, but it was a startup. I was employee one. I hired 2, 3, 4, and so on. We built that business to about a $10 million business, and then the corporate, the big corporation, decided they wanted to roll it in and make it a division as opposed to a standalone company, and I wasn't interested in that. And so I left that. I worked for several other smaller technology companies in a variety of roles. I was a chief financial officer. I was a chief operating officer. I was a chief executive officer in a number of smaller companies. The last of which was actually an Israeli company. We had software development labs in Tampa, in Boston, but our primary development lab was in Jerusalem, which was a great opportunity for me. We had software development in Japan, in Australia, so it was a chance to see the world.
Yeah.
Did that for a while and finally decided I was ready to retire at the ripe old age of 51.
Wow.
It lasted 6 months. I couldn't stand it.
Yeah. No retirement.
That wasn't you, it was a Barbara. I'm kidding.
No, well, so
Cut that.
Yeah.
well, my mom used to have an expression about retirement as it pertained to my dad, and it was for better or for worse, but not for lunch. I mean, I learned in a hurry that this house that I thought was our house
No.
was Barbara's house.
That's true.
I could have my office,
Yeah.
but it was Barbara's house.
Yeah.
So I went to work in something entirely differently, the home building industry. Did that for a number of years, retired again, lasted for 6 months. And then I started my own business, which was a consulting company.
Consulting company. Interesting.
And I ran that for several years before I said, I'm done.
That's good.
Interesting. So you guys have had pretty interesting career paths, right? And there were different values and cores that you had, but along the way, the cliche is, did you guys have in mind when you started a business or when you were doing your business what success looked like? And I'm just curious, Jeff, what was that when you started the business? Was there an idea of what you thought success looked like in that platform?
Yeah. When I started, I thought, I started a company called IT Computer Solutions. And guess what we did? IT. And we did solutions, and it was around computers. And I thought that once I got the business name registered and got my email set up on my own domain and got a logo and started flashing it around and maybe talked about it in front of a networking group, that my phone would be ringing off the hook and that would be success. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So it was a long time, I think, before I finally figured out what success was, other than the Webster definition, which is like a predefined determination of what you want it to be, and then reaching that, something like that. But I think as I grew in the company and started taking on customers, we were rapidly maturing. So it took a while for me to figure out what that idea of success was. We had a slogan, and I still use it from the day we created it to even today. But that slogan was earning trust every day. And that was our goal. That's what drove us, because to me, we were selling our time, right? It's like you asking somebody, hey, pay me X dollars an hour and I'll do this service for you. And in many cases, they don't have a clue as to what it is that you're actually doing. And that's why they've hired you. So earning their trust made it so that at the end of the day or the end of the week or whatever it was, monthly, we did a reconciliation of where our hours were and what our invoices were going to look like. I needed to be able to look somebody in the eye and say, here's your invoice, please pay me. And that was really difficult for me to do. So earning trust was super important.
That's good. So you both started your own companies here in Tampa? Or you started your company back there in Illinois? Yeah,
technically, I started in 2001. We were still in Illinois. I briefly mentioned I went to work for a .com company called My Biz World. I can say that because they no longer exist. And it lasted about 6 months before they came and said, hey, that's the end of the show. And I was unemployed for the first time in my life. I was about 35 years old at that point and really trying to figure that out. I was, looking, I was working the different resources at the time. It was, the internet was still pretty young at that point. My mom and dad couldn't figure it out. They were retired, right? And they're like, well, you're home, so come and do something with us. I'm like, no, I'm looking for a job. And they're like, yeah, but you're home, so come and do something with us. No, but I'm working. No, but you can't be working because you're home. So that was all brand new. Anyway, long story short, I had a friend, a dear friend. In fact, she still lives in the Bradenton area now. And her and her husband, Duke and Nancy, they had a roll-off garbage business, roll-off dumpsters. And they said, Jeff, can you come and help us get this business on QuickBooks? Because we're kind of behind the times. We're still doing paper invoicing and that kind of thing. So that was my first paid gig.
Really? Okay.
And I had $1,000 in my pocket, man. I thought I was the king of the world. Probably made, half of what I, could have or should have been making at the time as far as hourly rate. But it felt so good to be able to help somebody. And I had a lot of encouragement saying, maybe you should do something.
Yeah.
Then I had that background of all my family members doing things that they were good at and starting businesses. So I went ahead and started it. So did it in 2001. Linda and I relocated to Valrico in 2003. That was a result of her position in a big Fortune 500 corporation where they ran Big Blue in the back IT closets and stuff. Paul's company transferred her. And we were very blessed. She had a very good job, and I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to admit it. Linda carried the weight as far as financial breadwinner in our home for many, many years, working for that company that she started at when she was 18. Worked there for 32 years before she retired in 2015 to go spend time with our granddaughters. So. As we saw that coming, it became real apparent that, you know what, not only does Jeff need to start taking a regular paycheck, because that was a thing for a long time. The owner didn't take a paycheck. He needs to take one that's big enough to continue supporting us without a major change in our way of life. And so I had a lot of help doing that. It was networking groups that I was a part of. It was networking groups that I started. It was small men's groups that I started. Linda and I started. Other connect groups, and I had a great relationship with a very good business coach named Mary, who I'm still in contact with today, who helped me tremendously get to that point where, the owner of this business needs to take a paycheck too.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I have no idea if I answered your question.
No,
You did.
right on it. Let us right into
Yeah.
So that's interesting, Pastor Burr, is as we've had kind of a theme throughout was this book is having people in your life, whether it be mentor or spiritual guides or just people that give you advice. How about for you guys? Was there anybody along the way as spiritually as you grew in your business that kind of helped you form a foundation to where you wanted to take it?
So that you don't lose your soul?
Because I can only imagine the hours, that you guys put into this heart, soul, dedication away from your families. It's just, it's a lot.
I got two off the top of my head. One of them was a lady who was about 100 yards from here, was her office. Her name was Cookie Gray. And many people that watch this podcast, if they've been around New Hope for any length of time, they know Cookie. But in 2007, I was doing the group thing, right, with other people. It wasn't necessarily church-based, but I was a Christ follower, so it didn't matter. And through that group, it was Brandon Leadership is what it was. Through that group, one of our days was, meeting various nonprofit organizations in town and understanding how, as business leaders, we might be able to come alongside and help them and support them. And wouldn't you know it, I made a lifelong friend there in Cookie. I like to say that, she was one of my prayer warriors cheering me on. She's passed now. It's been a few years. But she was an incredible lady, an incredible encouragement, and one that told me, Jeff, we really appreciate all of this work that you do for us for free. She goes, but if you don't start charging me, I'm going to tell you to start packing, because I want your service, but I want your good customer service. I don't want the leftovers. And she forced me to start charging them my regular rates. So, and besides that, her wisdom was incredible in my life. Another lady, not that much different in stature, but her name was Evelyn. And she goes back to Illinois. And this is, as I'm a young Christian, I came to the Lord through Linda, who I became quite fond of. And she was a Christian. And I suggested we go this way on a date. And she suggested we go this way on a date. We went that way.
Smart man.
Yeah. But in our young married life, Evelyn was that lady in our church. And I think every church has to have somebody that records the financials and your giving. And it's very personal information, very private information between you and God, maybe between a husband and wife and God, if you will. And her advice to us was, and I'll never forget it. And Linda doesn't either, but it kind of pulled us aside one Sunday morning. She goes, I sense the Lord might be telling you guys to start tithing. I mean, really tithing. And there are not many people that can have that conversation with anybody.
Yeah. Talking about trust, right?
Talking about trust. Yeah. And I was not upset with Evelyn.
Sure.
We love Evelyn. And she was right on. Right on. And we started tithing, and I hadn't stopped. That, I think, changed the trajectory of not only my business, but our lives in general.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
If I might offer an observation, that you came to tithe is a big step. But I've seen you in action. And as we here at New Hope talk about generous living, you are one of those people that I look at as an example in that way.
Absolutely.
It's not just your money, it's your time, it's your involvement, it's the volunteer things that you do. And I commend you for being that kind of an example.
Well, that's very kind. I have to deflect that and give God the glory. Thank you.
Amen. Paul, how about you? People in your life.
So, my spiritual trajectory started out pretty well with my mom and church, as I talked about earlier. And then I went to college. It sort of ebbed a little bit. And while Barbara and I attended church in our married life, my spiritual growth, the biggest time of spiritual growth was after we got here to New Hope. I have been blessed, first of all, with our small group, our Connect group. When we first started to attend it, I stood in the back. It's like, I don't know how I can get involved with this. I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable with this. And it has been a source of spiritual development and growth and partnership with other people that's absolutely essential. The next big step then was to become part of a band group. And we talk about the group of six, right? And the importance of that sort of support group. I can relate to that because that's the way my band has been. 3 to 4 people who meet once a week and talk about the state of our soul. And I can honestly say that there are times when all I'm doing is listening and supporting them. And there are times when I walk in there and it's like, brothers, I have a problem. my soul is
Not in a good
in
place.
trouble.
Mhm.
And I need your help and your prayers and your advice. It's a huge support for anyone, and I think relevant as we talk about the book and how men support men. Sort of the last thing for me was I got roped into. Not really. It actually was something I was delighted to do. Being a part of a new organization that we had here for about a decade called the operational team.
Mhm.
And the purpose of that team was to take spiritual principles and leadership principles, combine them into spiritual leadership, and then restate in a meaningful way the values of New Hope and the mission of New Hope and the vision that we have going forward, and to start to build a leadership structure that wasn't just for the leaders in place then, but could be generational going forward. And in that vein, every member of that team helped me grow. I think we built each other. You were a part of that
Yep.
from the start.
And I can say the same.
But in addition, Bishop Al Gwynn, a retired Methodist bishop,
Yeah.
was our coach, and he was amazing. He when we would get off on a business leadership tangent,
Go on fixing mode, right?
that's exactly right. He would guide us back into, let's talk about spiritual leadership.
Yes.
Let's talk about how that plays out. In fact, I preparing for this, I actually reached out to him.
Yeah.
He lives in Kentucky, and he's
Steel farming, right?
He's doing well, yes. And I'm going to go see him.
That's so
right.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to get up there and go see him.
That's so nice.
So anyway, long-winded answer to your question.
Yeah. Very good.
That's good. And somehow you both have taken that entrepreneurial mindset in the corporate world and has brought it to, I would say, to create being spiritually entrepreneurial as well here in the church. You both have started small groups, started bands, created groups in which people can hold them accountable. Now, one thing that you mentioned that really probably will be worth going into a little bit more details is the difference between a small group and a band. So what is the role of one? It's both or either or? How would you see that? You have been leading. You guys have been leading.
Roberto, I'm shocked that you would even ask that question.
Okay.
Because the answer goes back to John Wesley, right?
Absolutely.
John Wesley said you have to have class meetings.
Class meetings
and
and
the
band
class
meetings.
and the class meeting is a larger group that is basically what a connect group is.
Exactly.
And it is a group that helps build spiritual knowledge and awareness and reinforcement in a learning environment.
So class groups learning together, growing together. Band groups what?
Band group is small group, men with men or women with women, where you work on the issues of your soul. How is your soul today? Is sort of the basic premise, and how can we pray together for you and your soul? It's a much deeper, more personal. Jeff spoke about the importance of trust.
Yeah.
In a band group, trust is absolutely imperative because you might be sharing things with that band group that you wouldn't share anywhere else. Maybe with your spouse, but I mean, it's that personal.
Right.
I don't know if that answers your question.
It does, and the reason why I ask is because some people say, "Oh, I'm in a small group. I already have an accountability group."
Yeah.
They say, "Wait, no, there is like a deeper level that probably you're missing, and you just don't know it." Okay.
Well, and you used a word that I did not use, which is accountability, and that's the other thing. When our band gets together, it is, last time you talked about this, and you were going to do that. How is it going? Right? How is that progressing? Are you still in that mode? And it's very definitely accountability driven.
Look like you have a bullet in the chamber.
Two thoughts. One, I guess, using the word entrepreneur in business and in church, I guess I never thought of it that way in the church setting, but it makes sense and it's accurate. But personally, I guess one of the things that kind of makes me feel alive is, and you can call me a lunatic and that's okay. I've been called worse, but I feel like God gives me these pictures, right?
Wow.
And I have this or vision, whatever you want to call it. And probably the last one that I had revolved around band group. We had a lot of emphasis on band groups here at New Hope. Last year, I guess it was, because what is it, November? Maybe last November, I don't know. And one of those pictures was two guys, two faces that I needed to ask about, hey, do you want to be in a band group with me? And what makes you feel alive, what made me feel alive is that's a huge risk.
Amen.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
So I reached out to both of those guys. I think I sent them a joint text message, if I remember right, the first time.
No, it was not.
It was it face to face?
I think it was a separate text message.
It was separate text messages?
Yeah.
You were one of them.
Yeah, I know.
Cecil Cadwallader was another one. And both said yes. And also, and so our group, we have a group of 5 now.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know if that's related to an entrepreneurial spirit or not, but it kind of makes me feel alive starting something like that.
It is.
And then something about, the difference between a connect group and a band group, something that I read in chapter 8 is the other bullet in the chamber, as you would say. This hit me hard. The average man in today's Bible-believing church is educated way beyond his obedience. See that on page 76 in chapter 8.
Wow.
Let me read again. The average man in today's Bible-believing church is educated way beyond his level of obedience. We spend so much time in groups learning. We think the purpose of the group is to support the Netflix of the church, right? Right now media or whatever, I can say that.
Right.
And it's like, well, what study are we doing next? What study is on deck and what study is in the hole? And I'm not saying those are bad, but sometimes that's where we stop.
Yeah.
And
I think that's all. Yeah.
I think it's a great point, Jeff. And you guys have had a pretty long careers, right? And you've been successful in your careers.
I think he's saying we're old.
And well, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So my question is that we may have some younger men or even people going through challenges or failures in their business or their career. What lessons could you give them about yourself and maybe how God helped you through those moments?
We're looking at each other. Who's going to go first? So
you got a bullet in the chamber. Go.
Yeah.
So we also glory in our struggles because we know that struggles lead to perseverance.
Wow.
Perseverance to character.
I read that somewhere.
Character to hope. And hope does not
Disappoint.
disappoint us because it has been given to us by Jesus in the form of the Holy Spirit.
Oh, wow.
And that has been my favorite Bible verse for longer than I can remember. And I would commend that to anybody because we all have suffering. We all have struggles. But I would say it doesn't matter what verse of scripture you adopt as yours. Find one that you can sink into in those times of trouble. The second thing I would say is, and this is for any business person. Yes, results matter. Yes, business metrics matter. But to steal from those famous philosophers, the OJs, don't let money change you. You have to define for yourself what your vision is for where you want to be, and then you have to commit yourself to that. And no matter how deep the struggle, stay committed, stay with it. And that's where, frankly, a band of brothers, so to speak, is immensely important.
Yes.
Because they can help you keep your eye on where you're going to be, as opposed to the muck and mire that you're going through right now. Over to you, my friend.
Oh, well, first thing I'd say, if you're watching from home, please click the QR code in the lower left corner of your screen if you know who the OJs are and the song Don't Let Money Change You. Because I think Paul might be the only one who knows what that is.
No, there's a
You're going to
theme.
have to sing it for us.
There's a theme here about my age that I'm not sure this is really fair.
I don't think there's that much difference, brother.
I'm asking you out there, particularly those of you who are a little longer of tooth, to come to my defense. Thank you very much.
We're not that far apart.
I know that.
All right. I like catchphrases. I really do. I keep saying I'm going to start writing them down and putting them in order of my most favorite to least favorite. But a couple of things came to mind. We talk about, the scripture that says, you will have challenges in life. And forgive me for not being able to quote it off the top of my head right now.
Take heart. I have overcome the world.
Take heart. I've overcome the world.
Yeah.
I guess what I would say to, number one, that's true. My paraphrase of that is life is not fair. We seek fairness. And in my experience, I think that's chasing the wind.
Wow.
It's just not something to grasp. So in that vein, the other thing that I really like, and I think is good advice in kind of a metaphorical way, is when you're in a hole, quit digging. Life's not fair, and when you're in a hole, quit digging. So you're going to get into trouble. You're not going to get into trouble, but there's going to be situations that come up where you find yourself and it's like, how did I get here? Right? So number one, accept it. And number two is stop digging and own it and get back out.
That's powerful. That's good.
That can be found in 1 Jeff chapter 2, verses 3 and 4.
Yeah. Not only the Pauls write letters, also the Jeffs also write long letters.
That's and I've read some of what he writes in his texts and emails, and some of it's really good.
Paul?
Jeff.
The gospel according to
Yeah.
Jeff.
By the way, I don't know how much longer we're going to go here, but I've got to stop a minute and interject because you were talking about the OT, the
Operational team.
operational team. Thank you. And I got to be a part of that toward the end of it, probably in the fourth quarter, if you will, of the OT. I got to be around for a couple of sessions with Reverend Gwynn. And I agree, an amazing guy, and one of those guys that, you just feel like there's just something about this person that I can trust 100%.
Yes.
And if he says I should or I shouldn't, I'm going to listen. But another guy that whose word goes a long way is this man right here. He talked about how he was, I maybe putting words in your mouth, but blessed by the people on the OT. I think the OT, I'll speak for all of them if I may, but your leadership on that and your leadership today in the leadership team of the church, the New Hope Tampa board, is amazing. And I watch and I admire and I long to be. I'd love to be a good coach. I'd love to be a good storyteller, and I have a couple of models in mind. And you're a model there as far as being a good coach. So thank you.
Thank you.
I can say Dito, but this is not like this is both people who have been in the corporate world. So this is not over if they don't show you like a graph or something, like a graphic.
So
what you got there? You got like a graphic, something you want to share?
So
A pie chart?
So
A
I
pie
do.
chart
Pie
or,
chart.
or something?
So
Otherwise, there's something missing here.
work for IBM.
We got coffee,
He's
we
definitely
got
got
great
some kind of chart.
conversation, but this is corporate tech world. We need a graph here. We need a pie
A
chart.
PowerPoint.
We need a PowerPoint. Come on.
well,
Excel,
look,
Excel spreadsheet or something.
Excel spreadsheet, that would be, no, not that. But I did sit down.
Let me see what you got. Let me see there.
So
You have there?
I do. So what I did,
People in video are gonna be watching that.
they're gonna show you
They're gonna
this,
show you
but what I did was sort of graph out.
Do you see what I'm talking about? This is the way these people think. We preacher think in bullet points. They think in charts.
I don't know where to go with this. So, but let me explain the chart. I titled it "The Problem Fixers Leadership Development So Far." What shaped the how I got here, and I looked at three components that helped shape my leadership. One obviously is spiritual development, and that's a black line on this chart that starts when I was a child and continues up today. And as you look at that line, you'll see it dips in the middle. That dip started when I was in college, and it took me a while to get back to where I was and beyond. The second thing I graphed here was the corporate influence, primarily IBM, and we talked about the basic beliefs and the whole notion that there are values that you adopt as part of your person and as part of your organization, your business, whether it's your own business or you're part of a bigger business. And so the red line is sort of the leadership development that occurred in that context. And it continues today, even though I'm no longer with IBM. Those principles still matter to me. And then the third, which is the gray line, is the entrepreneurial spirit. And it started late. And as I mentioned earlier, it started not with me starting a standalone company, but building a new company that was part of a bigger company, but ultimately blossomed into me having my own corporation. And what you'll notice in the most recent time is where all of that came together. And that, frankly, was the OT time.
Yeah.
That's when it became clear to me that it is the combination of spiritual principles and leadership principles that build the spiritual leadership base that's critical for me to operate, but I think for any leader to operate. It is a model that I talk to my kids about. I get on my soapbox anytime I can about that. And the final line, which is the yellow line, sort of tracks the top of all of that, because that's my path. That's how I got there.
Makes a lot of sense.
Sorry to bore you with my
No,
graph.
Oh no, it's exciting. Yeah, I would say the land of the free, the home of the brave, and but more commonly known as the land of opportunities. One of the opportunities, sadly, is that people have so many opportunities that they also don't realize that there's also an opportunity that they will lose their soul in the process.
Oh my!
If they don't have a healthy support system. So yes, this is the land of opportunities. But one of those opportunities, if probably not the most important, is that you have the opportunity to surround yourself with people, mentors, coaches that can really make a difference and keep you on track so that you can really get to the end of the line and achieve that vision.
Yep.
Accomplish that mission that you have without losing your soul, without losing your family, without losing your values, without losing your friends, and still doing that. So yes, the land of opportunity, but remember, that is an opportunity you should not miss. Surround yourself with people that are going to add a lot into your life. Like these two guys that we have here. Like it or not, know it or not, you are part of the Valor cast, guys. You know what the Valor casts are?
Yes, I think I'm part of it right now.
There you go.
This chilly November day. Two things come to mind though: attitude and enthusiasm. Two words. And I think in this room, there are two people that are hosting us that exemplify enthusiasm.
Yes.
Attitude. Amazing, both of you guys. So thank you for your examples.
Here.
In the way that you speak into the lives of people around this church. And I want to share a Bible verse with you that I was asking, what is that one? I wrote it down and I forgot that I wrote it down. I'm getting long in tooth. But I this was quoted in the book as well. Hebrews 10:24-25. Let us consider how we stir up one another to love and good works. I really like that image of stirring up. I have another phrase about stirring, but I won't use that today. But I think that's one of the verses that speaks into the difference between a band and a small group. Was we really got to, put our money where our mouth is, put our faith to the test, bring more people to Jesus,
Amen.
And stir each other up to do so.
So thank you guys. Thank you so much for sharing those treasures and those interesting thoughts. And I don't know about you, Scott, but I'm going out with a lot.
It's amazing. What a great discussion we had. Appreciate your time, energy, and efforts. All that you do for everybody in the community, our church.
Yes.
What tremendous men of valor you guys are.
We're blessed to have you guys.
Right back at both of you. And thank you so much for inviting me to participate, us to participate. I'm not sure we're worthy, but we are sure happy to be here.
Thank you for saying it. Yes, I agree.
And if anytime you bring coffee, you're going to be welcome back in the room. So
that's good.
Just make sure you bring coffee. I'm kidding.
So one final thought, which I'm sure is in keeping with the Valor cast overall.
Sure.
And and the goal here. I know I speak for Jeff as well. If there's any time somebody, a man in this church, needs somebody to talk to, and they feel like, we might have something to offer, I know we're available.
Yeah.
We may not have all the answers, but we sure have 2 ears to listen, and we may have some thoughts.
Sandy.
So this is a social media era. So if you're watching and you are one of those men, please leave us a comment there. Don't hesitate, and we will definitely reach out to you. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be blessed. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
for
Thank
Look
you.
forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you again. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Valor Cast, where fight meets faith and fruit. If this conversation challenged or encouraged you, share it with a brother. You may subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And to find more resources for men of faith, visit findnewhope.com/men.